Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Now as promised, we're gonna do a little story time, which sounds wholesome and comfortable, but probably won't be. But you know the drill. Before we get started, go grab something to drink, grab some water, or some tea. Personally, I made hot chocolate, because I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. So, grab your drink. Are you hydrated? Good. Let's get started, shall we? Stepmom asks about my tattoo, then makes it about herself. Necessary background. I, 35, female, lost my biological mom to drowning when I was 5. My dad raised me and my sister solo for years, but remarried when I was like 12 or 13. My stepmom, now 85, was verbally abusive, jealous of my relationship with my dad, and jealous of my closeness with any family members on my mom's or dad's side. She also hated that I refused to let her adopt me. I just never saw her as a true mom. I didn't think she liked me. She scared me more than making me feel safe or happy. And she showed blatant favoritism to our bio son because he could just run to his dad if he doesn't like it, but you're stuck here. Anyway, my dad died of lung cancer in 2010. I stayed in touch with my stepmom because I genuinely love my stepbrother and his wife and kids. I'm very low contact and my sister has no contact with our stepmom. I held off seeing her for years by using COVID, but I finally ran out of excuses and she came to visit after Christmas for a long weekend. She had not seen me in person in a few years. She noticed the new tattoo I had. It's 3 simple line drawings, one of a tree, one of a crystal, and one of a robot. She asked what they meant and I said, well, the tree's for my mom, since one of the few memories I have of her is when she taught me to climb a tree in our yard. The crystals are for Dad because he was a geophysicist and a rock collector and loved to dig for quartz crystal in Arkansas. And the robot is for my nephew, my cousin's son, who died when he was 6. He had drawn me the robot one of the last times I saw him. She paused and sat back and then responded, so God forbid, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, what would you get for me? I was so hurt, but also not surprised. She made comments before to the tune of, do I have to die for you to appreciate me? So I wasn't totally out of the blue, but it made me so sad that there was absolutely no empathy and no compassion. It was all, well, what about me? Don't I deserve a memorial? You kind of don't if you're gonna act like that. Because honestly, getting tattoos to honor anyone is their choice. It's her choice. And if she wants to get them because she was close to these people and she liked these people, then sure. But being the whole, oh, if I'm dead you'll appreciate me, which a lot of entitled parents seem to do, is kind of shitty. Because literally you can't act like a total dickhead to them their entire lives basically, since you've known them, and then expect to be like memorialized. You know, whatever. Family stays 30 minutes after close and doesn't tip after I give them a quarter from my tip jar. So I was open to closing one night and had about 30 minutes left or so. A woman and her daughter come in and the woman says she lost her quarter outside and she really wanted a gumball from the machine. I work in a place that is connected to a restaurant and between our 2 places is a gumball machine. Now in my mind I was like, okay, well that's really not my problem, but I'm a nice guy sometimes and I say, oh, no problem, and grab them a quarter from my tip jar. I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward until about 3 minutes until close. The mother and daughter come in and are going to get ice cream, which is a bit annoying, but hey, we're open, and they get 2 things, and she says, I know you guys are closed, but my husband is in the restaurant besides us, and I know he's going to want something. At this point, we're closed, but I'm like, okay, I can wait a couple of minutes. It's annoying, but not a huge deal. Then like 8 minutes goes, still no husband. And it's almost like she read my mind, and I was literally walking up to her to be like, listen, I gotta close, sorry. And before I get there, she leaves her debit card on the counter, and her daughter, who's maybe 8, goes next door to get her husband. They're gone for a while, it seemed like forever, but finally got back about 20 minutes after close. So they come in, get their ice cream, and I even let them try a couple first. They pay, and then go sit down at a table. We have plenty of outside seatings, and they also have a car. Now, usually I'm never this nice, I'm usually ready to go home, and it's a small place, so I definitely would have been gone at this point, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, they're gonna tip me well, so it'll be worth it. And they didn't tip anything. Like, they could have at least given me my quarter back. Now, I don't expect people to tip just for scooping ice cream, but giving them a quarter and staying open 30 minutes late, I was mad. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, the entitlement. I mean, First of all, I as a parent, I would be embarrassed to go into a place and be like, oh yeah, hey, my kid lost a quarter, can you like give me one? What? Like if you go in there and be like, hey, can you exchange this dollar I have into quarters? That'd be a different story. But just going in and asking for money because your kid lost it and you don't want to like tell them that since they lost it they can't because it's gonna be uncomfortable. My god. And then these aren't even like the worst stories yet and I'm already frustrated because if you're gonna keep them that long after closing time, like even if it's only like 5 minutes, it would already be rude because just get your husband something. You know him like long enough, just get him something you know he'll like. It's fine. And then sitting down inside when you know they're closed. My god. Oh, people frustrate me. After a huge fight with my parents, I got a message from my uncle, my dad's brother. To summarize, I have a father who is a very conservative person. He really dislikes tattooed people and says they're marginals. My mother is an enabler. In fact, she doesn't care about tattoos, but she cares about not bothering or making my dad angry. I wanted to have a tattoo since I was a teenager, but got my first one only when I was 21 because I didn't want my father to be mad at me. He didn't talk to me for a month after I got this tattoo. Basically, I spent my entire teenage years and early 20s, I'm 23, trying to gain his approval, but since this fight happened, I really don't care anymore. I've had a few girlfriends before and they always matched the beauty standards in my country. Blonde, no tattoos, no dyed hair, etc. This year, everything changed. I started dating this girl that I'll call Michelle, female 25. She's an amazing and caring person, dyed short hair and tattoos all over her body. As you can imagine, my parents weren't happy, especially my father. They disliked her since the beginning and told me that she was not the right one for me. After a few months, the whole situation escalated to a fight. After a nice day drinking in the pool with my mom and my girlfriend, my father joined us and started drinking too. He got drunk and told my girlfriend straight to her face that he doesn't like her and that she'll always be unemployed and never achieve big things in life because of her tattoos. I left home. A week after I returned, I still live in their house because I'm not graduated yet and housing is very expensive in my country. My plans are to move out in March 23. That's when I'll graduate. I decided to travel this New Year's Eve and I'm not back home yet. To my surprise, this morning I woke up with a text message from my uncle, my father's brother. It's funny how people who don't live in the same household as me and don't have to interact daily with my parents think they know something about my life. This is the message. Good morning and Happy New Year. It's a fact that passion makes one blind, especially those who have a weak personality. We have free will to make our choices, but we will be eternally slave to its consequences. I don't know if you realize the dimension of the problem that you're bringing to your parents. I just ask you to stop for a while, make yourself vulnerable and think about it. Otherwise, you spend the rest of your life carrying the cross of regret. In this crazy world we live, our family is our only safe haven, especially our parents, and you should thank God for having such amazing parents. What the fuck? I really don't know what to do with this. Should I tell him to fuck off? Should I block him? I decided to forget the whole situation and make 2023 better than 2022. But this message was a trigger to me. I don't understand what his intention by sending me this or why he thought he knows my parents better than I do. Okay. I know that in the comment section there were like a bunch of great replies to this. Because literally, it is so difficult from the outside to know what things are actually like. Because the parents are always going to act different to like older relatives like this uncle than to their own kids. And the thing is, you can never really know what they're like behind closed doors, and you can honestly, if you don't have to live with them, it's like easy to pick sides and be like, oh, it's not that bad, right? Like, you know, to keep the peace, you should just like shut up and rethink your choices because you're causing them problems. It's such a dickhead move from your uncle, honestly. If you have the energy, honestly do tell him to fuck off and tell him to mind his own business, because it's literally 2023. So many workplaces just don't give a shit about tattoos. They don't care, right? Like if you work in banks or something, I think in Germany it's like still like an issue of like having to have them covered up at least, you know, but honestly, who cares? Like a lot of places just really don't care anymore. And the whole, like the way your parents are acting and your uncle's acting is as if your girlfriend did something like horrendous. Like if she constantly goes around harassing other people or picking fights for no reason or getting you into like a bad lifestyle. That's what it seems like they're doing. But literally, it's just tattoos. My God. If you have the energy, tell him to fuck off. Or tell him to mind his own business and just block him. I would honestly understand. At the same time, if you want to kind of keep the peace because you're worried it's gonna like affect how your parents treat you until you can move out, it's only like 3 months if you graduate in March. So I would kind of understand just like saying something like him of like, oh yeah, I'll talk with my parents about it or something to hopefully get him to just like back off and shut up about it. But my God, what is this? I cut my hair. My mom flipped out. Characters: me, OP, mom, dad, B for brother, C1, cousin 1, and cousin 2. L, aunt, cousin's mother. I, 25 non-binary, decided to cut my hair. It's one of those cuts where I just have enough hair to brush it to the sides and the rest is shaved off. When I got it cut, I was in love with it. The day after I got it done, I went to my parents' place for New Year's Eve. Mom sees my hair. What the fuck? Me, what? I got a haircut. What's the big deal? Dad, how much did you pay for that? Me, $30. I went to a cheap chain of hairdressers in my country. Mom, why would you pay for that? Your hair is gone. Cousin 1, Auntie, calm down. OP wanted this. She wanted the change in her life. It's her hair, her choice. Dad, and you complained about going to the expensive local hair salon? Me, I can't afford to get this done at expensive hair salon where I spent $50 for a trim. Dad, well, you're a girl. Cousin 2, it shouldn't matter. She had short hair before. I got a lot cut off in July. I had a Karen cut. I mean, it's not like she... Dad, it's better than the cut she got now. Mom, don't ever get a cut like that again. Me, screw you. I like my hair as it is. Brother, start schooling boys' names that start with the first letter of my name. Whatever you say, insert boy's name here. Aunt, why didn't you get a cut like cousin 2? She has a pixie cut and it looks really good. Cousin 2, Mom, it's OP's hair, not yours. Stay out of it. Me, this is my hair. End of discussion. I'm not changing my mind. End of discussion. I stayed, but my brother kept calling me every boy name in the book, and my mother kept making sly comments about how much better I look with longer hair. Okay. I kind of feel like this one, especially as a trans person, and especially having dealt with something like this before as well, it's just so frustrating. Because literally, it's just hair. It's just hair. If the person who got this haircut doesn't like it, they can just grow it back out. Or get a different cut next time. That's fine. Secondly, this person really likes their haircut. And you're just gonna be there and be like, well, you're a girl, but you should have girly hair. Who gives a shit? First of all, they're not a girl. I'm guessing you're not out to your parents, and I can see why. But it's just hair. It's just hair. My God. How... it's so funny. And it's so ridiculous that your brother went off and started calling you boys' names. I don't even want to know how old he is. I kind of feel like if he was like 12 or 13, it'd kind of be better, because like, you're not old enough to like know better, right? With those parents, with those kind of parents, how is the kid supposed to know better? If he's older, it's even worse. My God. No respect for others' time. I'm already frustrated by the title. Am I in the wrong here? This morning, my mom mentioned going out to eat this evening. I picked up my daughter and then called my mom. We made arrangements to meet once she got off. This is at 5 and she gets off at 5:30. To kill time, I walk into Walmart. The restaurant is in the Walmart's parking lot. I returned some items and was going to walk around a bit until she made it. Not too long later, she calls and says she left something at work and is going back to get it. Cool. We'll just walk around until she gets here. She asked if I was getting underclothes for my daughter. I wasn't planning on it, but we can look. We look, we buy, we walk out. Surely she's close, so we wait in the car. This is at 5:35. We wait and we wait. 2 minutes to 6, I get a call telling me that she's in ATT trying to pay a bill. I told her that we've been waiting on her. She says that she thought we were shopping. I never said I was shopping. It's almost 6:30 and she's just now on her way. I've told her before that she doesn't have any respect for people's time. I left for the store one day and asked if she needed anything and she said no. As soon as I got home, she asked about a list of things she didn't mention before, so I had to take her to the store I just left because she didn't feel like driving. Am I wrong for being upset? No. 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 Like, if this was like a one-time thing and she really just got caught up at work, or she really just had problems with her card or something and that's why paying the bill took longer to take. If it was like a one-time thing and she would just like apologize and for keeping you waiting, because that's what like a normal person would do, I wouldn't even have an issue. But since it seems to be like a regular thing of her just being so entitled to be like, oh, it's fine, you'll just wait for me and you can just go shopping. First of all, going shopping with a kid is kind of exhausting anyways. I mean, depending on the kid, it might be fine. But just expecting that they're just gonna wait for you and just like go shopping so you can just take your time and just not even apologizing for it and just keeping them waiting and not like being... Because like if you would text them at like 5:30 and be like, hey, sorry, I'm not gonna make it 6. I'm gonna be there at like 6:45. Can you go shopping until then? That would also be a different story. But my God. My mom thinks she can control me in every aspect of my life, and she thinks I'm going to stick around after I turn 18. So my mom, 52, thinks she can control me, 17 male, and every aspect of my life. So for some context, I am a middle child. I have 2 brothers, 18 male and 12 male. Both my dad, 55, and my mom don't work and just get money from my rich grandparents. My dad is overall pretty chill and lets me do whatever and doesn't really give a fuck most of the time, but my mom, on the other hand, has a few screws loose. For the last 10-ish years of my life, my mom has been an overbearing parent, always concerned about my grades. I do fine in school, mostly A's and occasional B's, not letting me hang out with friends on weekdays, always going through my phone and texts and just stuff like that. My mom gave me a phone, but limits my screen time to 30 minutes for everything a day. So yeah, not much. I'm currently writing this Reddit post from a phone I bought off a classmate that my parents don't know about. Since I was young, like around 8 years old, anytime I would make a small mistake such as forget to take out the garbage, my mom would blow up and yell at me for hours. Sometimes it would even last multiple days. And after she's done yelling at me, she uses anything that I can find joy in as punishment. Here are some examples of the punishment she has used in the past. She doesn't let me play video games. I'm not allowed to game almost 90% of the year. Doesn't let me go out with my friends even on weekdays. Doesn't make me food and have to walk to the store and use my own money to buy and cook food. Makes me sleep on the floor, usually when I forget to make my bed. When I'm currently not allowed to play video games, and before I got the secret phone, I would read a lot, so she wouldn't let me read and I would just sit and not be allowed to do anything. Pretty much just bored to death. Those are the ones I can remember when off the top of my head, and there's probably a lot more. My older brother made the mistake of telling my mom that he had a girlfriend when he was 15, because since she has gone through his text messages every day and also doesn't let him see her as part of his punishment. So when I started dating this girl around a year ago, I didn't make the same mistake as my brother. For me to hang out with my friends or girlfriend on weekdays, I told my mom I joined a school club, so she thinks I'm in like 3 different clubs. I just show up to the clubs that I'm kind of friends with the club president. I show up for the club photo day and that's pretty much it, and get on the email list to prove to my mom that I am in the club. My girlfriend's parents know about the situation and are very supportive. A couple of times my mom have kicked me out and my girlfriend's family always takes me in and makes me feel welcomed. I have already some plans regarding my exit strategy. I already have a bank account my mom doesn't know about because my current one she has access to. I've also talked to my grandparents and they said they'll pay for my university and all expenses while I'm a student. The moment I turn 18, my girlfriend's parents say I can stay with them for a couple of months because between my birthday and the start of university or college. Any suggestions on what I should do in preparation of leaving? Thanks everyone for all the great advice and support. My God. I am so sorry. I don't get having kids and then pulling shit like this. Because literally, shouldn't you as a parent try to be a good parent? And I don't know if you're just so little self-aware that you think this is good parenting because you think you're disciplining your kids. What actually you're doing is just abusive. honestly, it's just abusive. Making them sleep on the floor and not making them food definitely counts as neglect. I'm just gonna say it. But listen, as for tips, since your girlfriend's parents and your grandparents are that supportive, you can maybe already start kind of collecting stuff you'll need when you move out at their places. Like, kind of packing away some clothes that your mom might not notice, or like if you're able to buy new clothes, kind of stuff like that. And like dishes and stuff to kind of keep somewhere, you know, so you have the stuff you need when you move out. Try not to go insane, because at least if you have like an exit strategy, the end is kind of in sight and you know it's not that far off. So I hope you'll be okay until then. But kind of just making sure you have what you need once you do get out in a way that your parents don't notice. But also, I love the school clubs that are just like so supportive, because you just tell them about it. It'd be like, hey, this is why, and they're just like, yeah, sure, we'll tell you in photo days, and we'll just like send you random emails, so you know, if your mother starts asking questions, you can just like bullshit your way out of it. I really like it. Honestly, that's what you should do, because honestly, parents like this, that's not normal. That's really not normal. Frustrating. Just frustrating. My god. But the good news is, I only have one more story to go. But this one, personally, might also be one of the most frustrating ones. So let's get ready. My entitled mother never told me my medical diagnosis. I was just remembering this lovely memory, and I thought it was worth sharing. For context, I'm 22, female now, and this story took place sophomore year of high school when I was 16. Around Christmas, I started noticing my back would be very painful around the end of the day. I thought it was because I was going from walking about campus all day plus dance team to laying in my bed over winter break. Fast forward 2 months, and that ache turned to a completely noticeable stabbing pain basically morning to evening. Fast forward another 2 months, and that pain was full on agonizing. Practically a stabbing hot poker 24/7. Icy hot, Epsom salt, stretching, meditation, etc. literally was just getting worse. My mother could not have made the situation worse. My mother thought I was exaggerating my pain and even would say it's probably because I was gaining weight and holding it in my back. I had to start crying silently in bathrooms, all to avoid whatever dismissive things she would say. She refused to take me to the doctor because she was convinced I was lying about how bad the pain was. I did everything I could think of at school, as I couldn't do any physical activity for more than 50 minutes at a time. Luckily, I had super understanding teachers and coaches. I came to a point where the only comfortable position was laying down. This was a high school floor, so you can imagine how desperate I was. One day, my mother came home and screamed at me, saying how much I embarrassed her. Apparently, some of my teachers had emailed her saying how concerned they were and suggested I'd go to the doctor. My mother said I could no longer do whatever I was doing at school and just had to deal with it. Well, the pain eventually started affecting my sleep, and I didn't know what to do. Another member of the dance team said I should make an appointment with a chiropractor. He worked wonders with her ankle. I unfortunately had to wait an extra 3 weeks until my grandmother came into town, as my mother refused to take me. At the appointment, he asked me like 400 questions, feels around my back, puts me in the weirdest position ever, and crack, instant relief. I literally start crying. For the first time in nearly 6 months, the pain was just gone. The doctor then shows me my x-ray, and I think I immediately see the issue. I say, "Is that a curve?" He says, "Yeah, it looks like you have slight scoliosis," and it was pointing to where the pain has been in your back. I'm honestly shocked and confused. I figured it had developed over the years, as no doctor has ever said anything before. So my grandmother and I get home. My mother is pretty snotty and says, "Well, what did they say? Is it all better?" I looked at her and tell her about the curve, and it makes me susceptible to extreme back pain. What she said next shocked me. She looked me in the face and said, "Oh well, yeah, that's always been there since you were little. Every x-ray has shown that. I've always known." I'm so dumbfounded, and I shouted, "And you didn't think to mention that every time I've cried about how bad the pain was about the last several months?" And she said, "Honestly, I thought you were faking." After a long time of mindful posture and lots of stretches, the pain eventually went away for good, but I will always remember that story. I know I already said to something else that it was neglect, but ignoring your kid's medical diagnosis and just telling them to stop pretending they're in pain when you know they literally have something that makes them have back pain if not taken care of properly, is so dumb. My god. Are you still in contact with your mother? Because I would understand if as soon as you were able to, you just said, screw you, I am never talking to you again. Because, my god, what is wrong with parents? What is wrong with parents? Why did I decide to do these stories? Because honestly, all that happens is I just end up feeling sorry for these people, and I'm just so confused by how people can do this. Like, I'm never having kids because I know I wouldn't be a good parent, because I don't handle it well when other people are in my space, in general. So I know it wouldn't be a good idea to have kids. I wish that other people would get their power trips under control and also be self-aware enough to know that they're gonna be absolute shit parents that are just gonna neglect their children or just constantly like scream abuse at them because they're not behaving the way they thought they would, because guess what? Kids are their own person and they're gonna do things differently than you would. You know, my god. My god. I hope that anyone who is in these situations can kind of escape out of that and, you know, have some relief inside to where they can like already start forming exit strategies and start like maybe distancing themselves a little with being in school clubs or something, or like being able to stay at friends' houses. But my god, what is wrong with people? This may have been the most baffling video I've ever done, because I know I always get frustrated because people do some dumb shit, but this may have been the worst one yet. My god. But anyways, I wish you all a very, very good relationship with your parents, unless your parents are absolute shit, in which case the good relationship to your parents might be just distancing yourself, honestly. My god. I can't. I literally just can't. Well, anyways, now that we're all frustrated with how people are acting, I think it's time that we go, take a few deep breaths, finish our drink, and then I will be back in 3 days with a less frustrating video, I promise. But my god, let me know in the comments if you want me to do stories like these again. I think I could also find like stories that are like a little bit less frustrating, but let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll be back in 3 days.